Welcome back to Maximum Intelligence. This is episode
Whoa.
3. I'm Eli Brown, and this is my co-host.
Daniel Finney.
Yep, and you have joined the podcast with the two most intelligent human beings
crazy.
on Earth. Highest IQ, highest street smarts, highest book smart, maxed out on our ACT and SAT. Dude,
Yep.
doctorates already. Can't believe we've
Yeah.
made it this far. So young.
Didn't we both get our doctorates at like 12 or 13?
I think mine
like-
was 14, but yours was 13. But
Oh, yeah.
but
Yeah,
it's
close enough.
it's insane though, for sure.
Yeah, but you only got yours at 14 because you took a year off to go travel with that one chica to like
Yeah.
Europe, right?
Yeah, it was
So
yeah.
it took a little bit of extra.
just different points in our life, it's all right. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, dude, you should have seen those
like,
custom
getting your
agents.
doctorates, isn't like that's not like the most important thing in life. Like it's up there, but it's
No,
like
for sure.
eh.
It's just
you
like
know.
one of those fields where we did it younger than like anyone else, and so it's worth
Yeah.
bringing up. So
Yeah, for sure. Like you kind of just have to flex on stuff like that.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, I got a
So,
question for you.
All right, what's going on,
You ready? How is your 2021 going so far?
dude? I'd say it's going.
We are half a month in.
It's on track to have the potential to being the best year of my life.
Dang.
There's nothing that's
why so?
happened since it started that's like extremely out of the ordinary, but
Mm-hmm.
everything just on average is better than the average for most years, if that makes sense. Like the amount of like self-discipline I've been able to have with my goals, little things like that, like being in a good relationship, making good money, like all of the different things it's going well.
Yeah, I actually want to show you something. So I agree. It's funny that you brought it up like the average stuff. Like there's nothing like that really is standing out. But this is kind of cool. So I started tracking every single day, like how that day was. And so it's kind of weird, but I actually like it because it's also like a mini journal because it says, I'll try to show you. I have no idea if that's going to be able to focus. So
So he's showing me a
it's
calendar,
really hard.
and then there's
Oh, there we go.
circles, colored circles
Yep.
around
So
the days so far.
the dark green that is on most squares is I don't even know if you can see it, but basically 10 out of the 14 days that I've tracked have been rad. That's the word that it uses, which is it's whatever. It's kind of like a low IQ word.
Okay.
Then there's 3 green ones, and then those have just been good, and then there's 1 blue one that's been meh.
Okay.
But that's been my day so far, which I feel like is pretty crazy to have
Yeah.
that many like rad days. It'd be like, yo, that was a really
Yeah.
good day.
You
Holy
need
cow.
to heighten your bar so that less
Maybe.
are rad. Just kidding.
Maybe next
It's
year
like,
I'll
what are
be
you
way
gonna
more
do if
strict
one
about what
day
is a
you-
rad day.
You lose your virginity. Is it just also going to be rad?
Yeah.
Yeah. It
kinda
used to be like pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably should change it, but it's like I feel like every day that I've marked rad, there has been like a reason, a specific thing of like, yo, that's really dope. Like that was like a really cool thing that happened.
So I can't tell if this means you're just a very positive and optimistic person, or if it means that for some reason there's just been out of the ordinary, like extremely amazing things happening to you every day.
It's more the first one. I feel like dude, my enthusiasm levels are off the charts. 98th percentile or something like
Oh, yeah.
that. So I do think I'm like overly enthusiastic when answering questions like that. Like even in the personality test that I took, I almost feel like my enthusiasm and like willingness to say like very strong or like strongly agree is probably higher than most people. Like most people wouldn't say strongly agree about some of the stuff that I do say strongly agree with because I always want to be like extreme,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, which
Yeah.
is really weird, but I feel like it skews a lot of things that I do. Like the journal, like
Go
most
dinosaur,
people wouldn't
go
say
home.
some of those days were rad. you know?
Yeah. That's interesting. I have a similar, mine is a little bit different because I've created just with a spreadsheet almost a similar thing. Imagine you've got dates going down what would that be, the y-axis? And then you've got, on the x-axis is activities that I want to do regularly. Like one is editing, one is reading, writing, gym, whatever, all those. And then I'll put a 1 on that, in that cell if I did that thing that day for 1 hour. If I did it for 2 hours, I'll put a 2 and so on. And so then I've been trying to limit the amount of time I edit. I don't know if I talked about this already, but basically I'll try to stop after 1 hour because I'm having more time to do that
Yeah.
other stuff. And so but then it adds it up, and then by the end of the day, I have however many hours I worked on stuff I consider to be productive. But then per week, I also have how many hours I did, and then per month, I have how many hours I did. So I'm kind of it's a similar thing, but the ranking system is only based on how many hours of productive activity I did, rather than I guess yours would be more how good you felt, probably.
So part of that app is when you're answering like how good your day was, you can choose activities that you did that day. And so I have like these things of like there's one category of sleep, and then I can choose bad, medium, or good, and then I can choose if I went to bed late or early. And it tracks that, and then so I can see like so far in the month, like there's some interesting things to me where like 4 days out of the month I spent time with family, which for me, I'm not actually like thinking about real family. That's specifically like really close people in particular, which is kind of weird, but like this month so far, I've not spent a single day with my family, but I've have it marked down as 4. And then friends, I've spent every single day I've done stuff with friends, which is dope. Yeah, literally every single day of the month so far.
Have you ever
most of that? What's
sorry,
up?
have you ever heard that quote? You can't improve things you don't track, or it's something like that's what it means. I don't remember it word for word, but like you can't increase things that you're not tracking and paying attention to. I think that's one of the reasons it's probably useful to do what you're doing. Is people might in general go, "What's the point in tracking how good my day was? How does that help me later if I go, oh look, 2 weeks ago I had a good day?" But I think that there is a lot of benefit to that, because if you see the average of how many good days you're having, or how rarely you're having them maybe, then it really puts it in perspective how you actually, like what your life really is. People sometimes are too stuck in the moment to be able to zoom out and kind of look at everything from a backed up perspective.
I also had a really interesting thought. So you came out to Utah about a month ago. Maybe like 3.5 weeks ago, something like that. And not going into too much detail what we did during that, I have noticed a significant overall like improvement in my mood day to day since that time.
Really?
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Like I was thinking about this like 2 days ago of my overall mood and like how I view life has like increased. And I almost wonder if I would have had a higher volatility score before you came out, if that makes sense. Like before that time.
That's so
because
interesting.
I think like part of that is, how we talked about like my 2 regrets, right?
Yeah, for
One
listeners,
of those being,
just to so that you understand why we're talking around something. So I got Daniel to do something that generally has a negative connotation around doing it. And then we figured out a way to justify it, and he did it. And so this is this is what he's talking about. Probably something he wouldn't want me to discuss here, but
but said activity has made a like general improvement in my life and like my day-to-day moods, which is really interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I didn't expect that. I can't say I've noticed that, but I'll probably try to like keep an eye out for if that's a possibility from here on. Yeah.
Yep.
The other day you said, when you were telling me about your personality scores, you said that you think that I can't remember which score it was specifically, but something about my like happiness or something you think has increased since I met Trinity, right? Or like what did you say happened since I met Trinity?
I don't know the specific trait, but I remember talking about how like you would have had a higher volatility score. I think it was volatility again.
Oh, neuroticism.
Because I remember, neuroticism. Yeah. Yep. It was neuroticism. That you would have scored higher on neuroticism, like if you took the test before you met Trinity. Because I think your day-to-day, like for you, that filled a pretty significant like hole, I guess. And so I think day-to-day you... I know. I was trying to skirt around the obvious.
I had so many jokes.
But yeah, like that had made like a improvement day to day, because it's almost like, like the hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
I feel like you being in a relationship with Trinity almost like crossed off one of those needs. You're
That's a
like,
good way
okay,
to put it.
cool.
I think so too. I
Mhm.
think I think that it became even more necessary when something happened within the last year or two that made my relationship with my mom a lot worse, and because that was
Mhm.
kind of the only adult interaction I would have on a day-to-day basis at all,
Mhm.
um, and then having such a major rift between like happen there permanently, it kind of like you said, it was even more of a void than it probably would have been before that
Yeah.
got filled. So yeah,
Yep.
interesting.
Yeah, kind of interesting.
I hadn't thought of that until you said it, and then
But
I was
overall, I will say that I think 2021 is going. I'm going to answer the question because I didn't really answer it. I think starting off really, really good. And I also think this is going to be one of the best years. Especially, I'm so excited to turn 21, dude. It's like a month from now. It's like a month and 4 days. And I can't wait, dude.
yeah. So you talk about you never want to get drunk because you think
Yep.
there's religious negative implications.
So, okay, to clarify my stance on this,
Uh-huh.
um, there it's a pretty easy argument to make that like getting drunk is like sinful, but the extent of to what that means, because like it talks a lot about not uh
Doing something
not
you
being
wouldn't
like a
do otherwise.
drunkard, like kind of like talking about almost being like an alcoholic, and then don't get drunk because it leads to debauchery. So there's a conversation that I still kind of need to have like with myself and others about what extent I'm really talking about when it comes to drunk.
Yeah,
And
because it's
so
not clear.
before I have a definitive stance on that, I want to be careful with how far I let myself go, because I don't have like a really strong personal conviction of saying this is when it becomes wrong. And because I don't have that conviction, I want to like skirt away from
Yeah,
that
that makes
line,
sense. Yeah, to be
you know?
careful, just in case that you later
Yeah.
decide that the line was lower than where you crossed. But the
Yeah.
yeah, it's an interesting thing because people have asked me, like seeing videos or something of me doing something, and been like, "Would you have
Hmm.
done that if you were sober?" And there's never been anything I wouldn't do if I were sober because it's all like
Hmm.
shock factor humor or, you know, being loud and goofy and stuff like that. So far
I
never.
mean, you're definitely more gay when you're drunk. So,
That's debatable. It's highly debatable. But yeah, so I think yeah, like you said, I agree that you probably should have that think more about it and reflect more on where exactly you think that line is, because it is weird how it is
Mhm.
such a gray not a gray area, but there's no clearly defined point at which it's too far. You know, like for
Right.
some people, it might be as soon as it's blackout or to where I don't remember anything. You shouldn't go that far, which that's a
Hmm.
decent line. And then you could also say, but like anything before that, it's like it's kind of weird because some details you might not remember, but you might not have remembered those anyway, or maybe
Hmm.
maybe it's X number of shots or something, but then it gets weird with other types of drinks you don't take
Right,
shots of,
right.
and everything's
It's
just
like, okay, I'm gonna
confusing.
do Everclear. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do 180 proof drinks. That's it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it is interesting thinking about that line. And another conversation that I've had that's like kind of similar to this topic is that line might move with who you are around. Um, and so I think this might be surprising to you. I think I would probably get more tipsy or like more buzzed around like a group of church friends that are drinking than I would with the squad, because I don't trust myself to be like a good representation of God and of like who I really am around the squad if I was like really tipsy. But if I'm around like a bunch of church people that have like the same view as me, um, I think it's easier for me to be safe if I'm not like. mm, does that kind
Tempted.
of does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
definitely get it.
yeah.
I think
So,
but if you were like in option two where you're around church people, aren't they
uh
also in this hypothetical getting drunk?
yeah, but this is gonna be like a very church word. It's kind of like the word that's coming to mind is heart posture of it's like this. willingness and like desire and where you are like focused at like a spiritual level almost. Um, and I think it's more easy for me to be like focused on God and like doing his will, because that's like my life mission is like I want to do what God wants me to do.
Mhm.
And I think it's a lot easier for me to do that around church friends than it is around other people, right? Because we all have that same
Yeah, that makes sense.
like background. We're
They're
all
not
coming
going to
from the
tempt
same
you
place.
to do something outside of that, like the
Yeah.
squad would.
Yeah. And I don't think it's even bad to be around like the squad or drink around the squad, but I think that's just an interesting thing to think about. At this point I would feel way more comfortable drinking a lot more around church friends. And even like I was at a birthday party last night for someone that goes to my church. His 21st birthday party, and it was, dude, so he had friends like from outside of church and his family that doesn't go to church, and then he had all of his church friends, and we literally ended up bringing all the church friends brought more alcohol to the party than all the other people, which is so funny. It's like this weird thing that's happening. I wouldn't have expected it, but you know, it kind of makes sense. Like one of like the church moms, dude. So he is married to one of my really good friends in the church, and the mom of my friend brought Jello shots to his birthday party. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it was like so weird. She walks in with this huge tray of Jello shots, and it was like, this is the weirdest thing. You're like 50 years old, and you're gonna start doing like Jello shots with us, like, bro.
Yeah, it's really weird. I think it's extra weird for me too, because I grew up raised Mormon and in the whole Mormon culture, and I did go to Christian churches also for a span of like 3 years, but it was majority of it was having like alcohol, and that whole, I guess, stereotype, everything that has to do with that was so far outside of my entire family, you know, plus everybody at church, you know, everything about it was extremely taboo. And then having it, I don't know, just like getting more involved in like people like you, like Christian but not necessarily Mormon, and then also moving to Utah with my dad who's not LDS and things like that. It was everything was so different, and it kind of changed my whole perspective on, you know, everything relating to alcohol.
For sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It is weird, the viewpoint, because I feel like even when I was younger, because like my parents' generation, I feel like was so anti-alcohol, or not like anti going out to the bar. Like my parents both have like, they'll have like a beer or they'll have a glass of wine. But my sister's life group regularly meets at bars. This is their church life group to discuss the last Bible chapter that they read, or like all these Christian topics, but they'll meet at a bar. And then that like freaks out my parents like life group and their friends, and they're all like, that's the weirdest thing. Like, why would you do that? But that's becoming like a more common thing, even just within the church, which is really interesting.
Yeah, really weird. I'm excited for you to turn 21 also. I know that your idea so far is to try to meet at an Airbnb so that maybe people like Damien and Kayla or Trinity that aren't necessarily 21 yet can hang out with us. And then I was asking Davin what his plan was for his 21st birthday, which is on about a week before yours. And he was saying he wants to do something where he goes to Las Vegas because Braden lives there. And but then if he goes before Damien turns 21, then Damien can't do half the stuff with us. And Damien doesn't turn 21 till August. And if we waited till mid or late August, then Trinity can also go, and Damien and Kayla can go, and all that. So I like that idea of him just doing nothing, so that I, you know, just not having a party until...
Yeah. Well, I think when you come out for my 21st, I think that's going to be a combined birthday party, even with Trinity, because we won't be going out anywhere. But if we get an Airbnb, isn't that going to be kind of like
should we get 3 cakes and candles for you, Davin, and Trinity, and then make like an
Drake.
Actual? Oof. When does Drake?
Drake is also. Drake turns 21, I think, on the 4th. Yeah, the 4th.
Dang, that's a lot of February.
Yep, because Davin's is on the 11th, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's 4th, 11th, and then it's 8 days, so the 19th.
Well, I want to post in a group chat then and make it more clear that that's the goal of that trip, and then try to actually get presents or something.
Because that's what I was thinking is we get an Airbnb and have this be like a really big party for all of us, because it's your girlfriend and then 3 other people in the squad all having this combined birthday party. I think that'd be really
Should we
fun.
do that for the full 6 days? Just have, like, you know how if it's
Like
a birthday party, you send invites out to, like, I don't know, Damien's little brothers and people like that, right? Or are you not wanting to go that far with invitations?
I mean, I don't really care. I'm just assuming hanging out with like the squad primarily and then inviting other people. But I'm not envisioning like a birthday party that I invite my parents to.
No, of course not.
I'm more of just like a squad hangout, because my plan right now actually changed. It actually changed last night. So originally I was planning on going to the Pie on the 19th with the squad and then just hang out with them. But I actually think on the 18th, I want to hang out with the squad and then at midnight start drinking with them. Because I was thinking about like how funny would that be? Just like the second it hits midnight, almost do like a New Year's countdown and be like 3, 2, 1. Just take shots.
That'd be so funny hearing the
really
employees like, you know, you try and buy alcohol and they're like, no, you're not 21 yet. And we're like, but look, it's midnight. And can we set them on the table? And then right when it switches to midnight, take them?
No. So I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking about doing it at a like Damien's house or something like that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that would be really fun because not a lot of places are open at midnight. The Pie might, but
it'd be fun to find a bar that's open till like 3 a.m. and go in and show them your ID, but go, listen, at midnight, I could explain the idea, and I bet they go, okay, you know, come on. It's
maybe.
only 3
but
hours.
I don't know, dude. Utah is also like so strict. Like people here are like so weird because you can get in so much trouble for underage drinking here. But
yeah, who knows? We could try it.
Yeah.
By the way, I just realized some listeners might not know what the squad means.
Oh yeah.
Squad is a group of 10 people. 9 of us all went to high school together, and we're just kind of a group, a clique all through high school, and then I shouldn't say all through high school, the last year and a half of high school. And then obviously lots of us knew lots of other people for years and years before that, but it didn't become solidified as a group with those specific people with that name until the last year and a half of high school. And then a 10th person was added later. Well, I remember I was there when we solidified the name, the squad. And
okay, wait. There's a confusion happening because you graduated a year before me.
Ooh, my bad. 2.5 years for Daniel.
Yeah.
My bad. That's what's going on.
I understand what you were saying.
All right. So anyway, there's 10 people total now. You've probably heard, I know in this podcast you've heard Jarrett, Davin, Drake, probably Anthony, some of these people, but yeah, there's 10 of them. That's what it is.
That's who that group of people is. It was just so much easier having like a name for it than keep on saying like, oh, are we going to go hang out with so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so?
Yeah, because you'd also go, should we invite everyone? And depending on who you said that to, they might have one friend that no one else is friends with, and they might assume that person's included or something like that. But then for everyone to go, listen, this is the group. If we say the squad, it's only these people. And then it became clear. Because we just all were too popular.
Yeah, it's really easy now to say something like, oh, let's invite the squad plus like Rand and Kayla and Corey and Kendra.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, there's so many names.
Dude, we should make a list of all the names.
Yeah.
There's also a D list, dude.
Yeah, there is.
Drake,
and
Dawson,
then there's also
Davin,
2 Kaylas.
Daniel.
There's Kayla, Corey, Kendra.
Yeah. Dude, to the D list, can we add Dindini?
That'd be really funny.
My girlfriend's name is Trinity, and one of the 3-year-olds at our house can't say it, and she only calls her Dindini. And so now that's just stuck, and her Steam name and her Xbox account and all of these different things is Dindini now. So
is she gonna start streaming more? What do you think?
I don't know, dude. It's kind of weird. She signed up for some online classes now, and I don't know. When it's her work week, definitely not, because she's only awake for like 3 hours before she goes to work or is asleep, if that makes sense. And so I kind of doubt it on those days, but we'll see. Maybe stuff will change in a few months. We're going to be moving to Utah in 7 months from now, but we're going to be an hour and a half north of the squad. So
it's gonna be super exciting. One of the houses I think me and my sister are gonna look at. I'm just gonna say this because I don't know anyone in the squad that's actually gonna watch this far into the episode. Maybe people would.
I know of like 3 people that watch all these.
Oh, really?
In the squad, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll still talk about it. So me and my sister, for those who don't know, are hoping to buy a house. There's a honestly at this point, I would say almost a small chance that it's going to work out because she might end up buying a house just by herself. Um, but if we are able to get a house together, and that's what we're going to do, and one of the houses that we're going to look at soon is actually really close to your dad's house. Like,
Dang.
it would be like almost walking distance, dude. It would be so funny because whenever you visited your dad, you could just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go over to Daniel's."
Yeah, walk there.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could finally get my earbuds that are there that
Oof, cringe.
have been sitting there
Cringe.
for a long
Yeah.
time. Dude, so I've got this $3,000 TV mounted on my wall to the right, and I flew a drone into it and broke it when it was about 10 months after I bought it. And it was still within the manufacturer's warranty. I made sure, and I was contacting Sony, trying to get them to fix it, all the stuff. They were replying, and they were saying stuff like, send us pictures of this and a picture of this and this. And then finally, one of the things was, go to YouTube, go to the specific video, pause it on that video, and then take a picture of your screen. And that video is a video where the screen is sectioned into 4 different colors, and I think it's so that they can test those colors relative to how the colors are supposed to be on the screen or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't because the nature of the break makes the TV, it can't turn on. The way the drone hit it, the TV, nothing happens if you turn it on. And so I was like, well, I can't send you that because the whole way it's broken, I can't do that. And then they replied, okay, good job. You sent us these ones. Now we just need this one of YouTube. And I was like, I can't. And so I sent them another just black screen and said, look, this is what happens when the TV's on. I tried explaining it. Email went back and forth like 4 or 5 times, and then they stopped replying. So then about a week later, I emailed them again and said, hey, there's no follow-up. They never replied. And then I've called them twice since then, emailed them again since then. They ghosted me. And that was in November. And now it's January, and it's technically past the warranty now, and they just ghosted me. So I was telling Davin about it. I was like, what would you do? I don't want to buy the same TV again. And I looked up the price of it now, and it's $2,700 right now because when I bought it, it was on a Black Friday sale for $2,500. Mm-hmm. And bruh, it's like he thinks I should buy it from Amazon, exact same TV, buy another one from Amazon, take it out, put the broken one in the box, and return it to Amazon and say it doesn't turn on. And then they'll assume that the corner got hit or something in packaging or whatever,
delivery.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, but if they track the stupid serial number on it, go, this is the serial number we're sending to him, and that they'll see it's different, then they'll know I did that. But I'm still probably going to do it. I can't think of anything else.
That's really weird. Okay, how is the call thing? How does that not work? Why don't you, once you talk to a real person, it seems like you couldn't get ghosted.
First of all, it's really hard to get to a person. It's automated so many levels down the line, and it takes 15 minutes of sitting on the phone before it gets there. And then the 2 times I've talked to a person when I called them, they said, I explained the problem, and they go, oh, so that's this department. It's like returns or warranty or some other department. And so then they transfer me there, and it's a message. And both times it was a message. And so I was like, I should probably keep bugging them about it before I steal a TV, but I'm tempted to just steal a TV.
Yeah. Or you should figure out where the Sony headquarters is or something
drive
like that. And literally just go to the headquarters and be like, I'm not leaving until you guys give me my TV back.
Yeah, because I mean, I did everything right. It was still within the 1-year manufacturer's warranty when I first started contacting them. And I don't know how it was, I don't know what they did to
super cringe, bro.
It's so frustrating. But so now I've got a TV.
You could also leave a review. You could try to see if they'd contact you because some companies will respond to your review and be like, send an email to this specific person. Like I've seen that happen of like, hey, my name is so-and-so in this department. Can you reach out to me? Something like that. That might be able to work and explain the whole situation because even just leaving bad reviews on TVs like that is like a really big deal. If you left like a 1-star,
yeah,
at some point someone's probably going to see it, but
that's a good idea. I'll try to do that. I'll get on their website or something. But yeah, so now instead, since that TV's been broken for so many months now for video watchers, I'm moving my camera. That's the nice TV up there. And then I have one that I bought for my mom for 1/10 the cost, sitting right in front of it on top of the entertainment center that's supposed to be under it. And it's just the dumbest situation ever. because now my
Do you think
entire
the big TV is 10 times like the
Better?
value? Yeah.
3,000 versus $300. I don't know. I think knowing that it's a $3,000 TV makes me like it 10 times more. So,
Dang. Okay. That's
but
fair.
it's very clear that the picture's better, 100%, and then it being
Yeah.
OLED is super obvious. And
Dude,
there's
I'm
things like that.
surprised you can notice that, because I feel like for so long you always are like, I can't tell the difference.
I
These
know.
two pictures and stuff like that, it's like I can't.
Yeah, I am very bad at that, but with this TV specifically, I think that was one of the reasons that I bought it. It was very noticeable to me at the time, and it had just come out that year, and I was like, yo, that's such a cool picture, and so I got it.
Yeah,
And then
that's awesome.
yeah, but it's very sad. It's also on a wall mount where I can literally grab the TV and tilt it any direction in my room, or pull it like 3 feet away from the wall and then tilt it so it can go
Right.
really sharp angles. It's really cool.
That's so dope.
Yeah, the
One day I'll get there. One day I'll have a nice TV. Or I'm honestly thinking about just going the projector route, like getting a really nice projector and then having this like huge 110-inch TV.
that'd be pretty cool. If
Like,
you had a
that would be
house with
so
a
cool.
room, that'd probably be worth it.
Mhm.
Or go the
Yep.
VR route and just put on a headset.
Yeah, never have a TV. Dude, I was thinking about that. I want to figure out a way that I can have my setup. So like I'll just have a keyboard and mouse in front of me, and then maybe like a mic in front of me. Something like that. And have nothing else on my desk. Just those things. Like maybe I'll even have like a tiny desk and I'll have like a VR headset sitting there.
I've done that.
So whenever, like, do you think that you could move your PC, that all you bring is your PC, a keyboard, and a mouse, and your VR headset? That's all you have, and fully use your functionality of like your desktop? Like, do you think that you could log in to Windows that way? Like getting it set up so that right off the bat, like you don't need a monitor at all.
So
That would be so cool.
logging into Windows is the only thing I'm not sure about. You might have to do a thing where when you turn on your computer, it goes past the lock screen. But obviously, you could, without seeing, push your pin and hit enter, and
Space
it
and
gets
then
through it.
pin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But what I've done before, because someone was like sleeping behind me at the time, there's this program I bought on Steam called I think it's called Windows VR, or some basic name like that, and you put on your headset, and this little window pops up to adjust the like the screen resolution or the angle that it's tilted and stuff, and you use your keyboard and mouse and click it, and then it just goes to your normal desktop, and you can just see your desktop in front of you, and moving your keyboard and mouse does it correctly. And I'm just wearing my headset, and so I turned all of my monitors off, and I went to editing my Adobe Premiere, and I was able to see more of the timeline in my headset than I can in real life, just because of how my monitors are based and stuff. I could just stretch out the thing really big, make it gigantic in front of me, and then stretch it really long so I could see the edges, and then I had it curve, and it was like this whole setup. So I know it's possible to do it like that, because then I was able to play games that were not VR, but I was in VR just looking at a window. And so
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that has to be the future of gaming, right? Because like even just sitting down, because to be honest, like I like VR games, but sometimes I want to sit down on my PC because there's so many things that, like, I don't know, this is just comfortable for like shooters and stuff like that. Like I like using a mouse instead of those VR things, because this always felt like more inaccurate than I can get with a mouse.
yeah, for sure.
And yeah, I that's got to be the future, dude. Monitors
I
are
don't
going to go
think
out
so.
of business. You don't think so?
No, the reason why is because you would think that the future would just keep going more and more lifelike, but I think the thing that makes it stop to where games don't get more and more lifelike is the ease of when you're really tired and just want to play a game. There's something about putting on your headset and having a big thing on your head that's less relaxing than laying back in a chair and just looking for
But
it.
it can be really, this is where I disagree with you, because you're thinking about the future with your headset, but imagine it's like, oh, I'm going to go grab my glasses over here and just put them on, and then I'm sitting at my desk. Right?
Yeah.
Like what if it's an alternate reality thing? Could you imagine you're wearing your
Augmented.
glasses all day. You have these like smart glasses, and then when you want to sit down at your computer, maybe it's fully powered by like the glasses or something, and you just sit down at a desk and you can just have these things appear in front of you like they're there, like monitors, and then you're just using it.
Yeah, I guess
I don't
with
know.
that technology, if the ease is there, if it's comfortable and quick enough, then yeah, you're right. I think
Mm-hmm.
that would be the case. I think that if you keep going, you'll get an SAO situation. There's a show called SAO
Right.
where it basically bypasses the input to your brain from the rest of your body into the game first. So in real life, you're in a comatose state, and then in the game, anytime you try and move your body or your hands, it moves it in the game. I think that's the end of the line, probably. I don't see how you could go further than that.
But I don't think that is quite what I'm talking about, because you're still like, that would exist like parallel to what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because there's not real benefit going into what you're talking about. I mean, maybe there is. Actually, the one benefit that I could see is you could have fully virtual offices. So, like you could technically be working from home, but you go into VR and you're at an office space with all your coworkers. Like, VR chat.
Yeah.
But imagine like if you combine VR chat with like the business world, so everyone goes into their own offices, they can be fully decorated. Everyone could have a corner office, this like sick view and everything.
Yeah.
But you could still talk to all your coworkers. I don't know. Something like that would be dope.
Yeah, that's a good point. My mom said 2 of the nurses she worked with for years, they would put on this cheap little VR headset. And because one of them ended up moving to a different hospital, they'd put on this headset and do one of those cheap programs where you watch Netflix, but you can do it in a party mode where when you look over to your right or left, it looks like your friend is sitting on the couch next to you. And of course, it's just a stupid animated thing. But if they talk, they can hear each other. And if they look forward, they see a movie theater screen with any show from Netflix. And so they'll literally watch shows together real time and feel like they're just hanging out together because they used to do that in person. Yep. And the fact that like 40-year-old nurses are getting into that is like, it makes me happy, but it's funny.
It's cool, dude.
It's really weird.
Yeah. Do you ever remember watching Netflix on like the Xbox 360 in party mode? Because you could do like a similar thing, is you could all be watching it and be in an Xbox party and then still be talking and stuff. And you would see, because you know how the Xbox 360 had like the characters? What were those called?
Avatars.
Yeah, your avatar, and I could see all my friends' avatars sitting in a movie theater. You couldn't control like where you were looking or anything. It would basically be like a projection, like what you're watching, and then down below you could see like the heads of all the avatars. Like that's all funny. It was. But me and my friends would do that.
Yeah, there's an app called Rave that Trinity and I've used before while she was at work, and you just open Rave and then you can go to YouTube or Netflix or Hulu or anything, and then you're both looking at it. And if you tap the screen and hold down a mic button, you can say something, and then it'll play your voice through their phone. And it's pretty cool.
That's interesting. That's so funky, dude. Yeah, I think the augmented reality or the deep dive, like whatever it is it full dive? Is that?
I think
what we're
that's
talking
technically
about?
what it's be called, full dive VR. Yeah.
Yeah. That's got to be the future in like so many instances, dude.
I mean, I think the future of augmented reality, if you went all the way, would be a Neuralink membrane around your whole brain connected with maybe some type of cybernetic eye enhancement, but you probably wouldn't even need that if you had Neuralink.
Probably wouldn't.
And then that would just be, as you're walking around, if you want to check your email, then it just pops up in front of the sidewalk you're walking on or whatever. You just see it floating.
That's a weird one, because it wouldn't even have to be displayed over your eye. You could have a full separate stream of input to your brain that's like a different, like you could be seeing what you're seeing and then also seeing something else.
Yeah,
like not even overlaid. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, it doesn't have to be overlaid. It would be a second input of vision,
like
and you
literally a
can
third eye.
Both of them.
You could have what you're seeing and then another stream of input. That's so crazy, dude.
Yeah, that's really,
weird.
Really cool. One thing I wanted to ask you about that is just so weird to me. Right now it's January 15th, and we kind of talked about politics a little bit on the other podcasts, episode 1 or 2, and I keep hearing, and keep in mind some of this is from some conspiracy theory type people, but that something big is going down in the next few days between the, I don't know. I don't know if it's the Trump presidency and the Biden presidency or what the idea is, but do you think anything weird is going to happen, or is it just going to peacefully like transfer to Biden? He's going to be president. Nothing weird goes on. And because I know they're trying to, I mean, this part isn't even disputed. They're trying really hard to impeach Trump in the next 10 days.
Well, they did. They did successfully impeach him. That's not a removal from office. This is his second time, I believe, getting impeached. But that doesn't mean getting removed from office.
Oh, I thought impeachment meant if you get impeached, can you run again a second time later?
I have no idea. I think so because as far as I know, an impeachment basically is just a formal.
Slap
It's
on
like
the wrist.
formally saying you did something wrong. Does that make sense? It's not just
Yeah.
like, oh, criticizing them through the news. It's saying you messed up. You,
And you definitely
uh,
did. We proved it.
yeah, basically. But
I see.
people use impeachment like he's getting kicked out of the office, which is incorrect.
That's honestly
Like,
what I thought
yeah,
that they were
it's
trying to
not.
do.
So they do want to kick him out of office, but he has been impeached,
Okay.
but
Okay.
he hasn't been kicked out of office.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, because it's basically saying you are guilty. That is what it is. So they found him guilty, basically, of inciting violence or whatever.
yeah.
But that doesn't mean that he necessarily gets removed because it like could come as like a punishment, but that's like a whole different thing from impeachment.
Well, you know how who was it? Bill Clinton and whoever else have been the only presidents to get impeached. Maybe it was only Bill
Mhm.
Clinton. I can't remember.
I don't
He
remember.
might be the only one. But I always thought it meant he got kind of kicked out of office before his term was up, and that somehow affected if he can run again. And so my
So I
guess,
thought he resigned, didn't he? Because
Dude,
he got
I don't
impeached
think
and then resigned. Let's see.
but here's my question: what is the point? Because I thought the point of them trying to impeach Trump was to make so he can't run again. But if he can just run again, what are they gaining from impeaching him? Just to make him look bad?
I think so. That's basically it. Uh, yeah. So he got impeached and then he resigned.
Dang.
Oh wait.
Daniel's googling.
Clinton.
He's reading. He's googling. He's looking. He's searching.
Wait, this is the
Scanning.
impeachment of Bill Clinton.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
what I said.
Okay. This is really. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I don't know if he actually did resign or not.
I don't know. Basically, to sum up my whole point of bringing any of this up was: do you think that nothing
Mhm.
weird will go on as far as just transferring to Biden and everything's fine, or do you think there's some giant, weird, stupid plan that the Trump presidency is gonna do all this weird stuff? Because here's the thing I kept saying, hearing by these conspiracy theory people was that there's gonna be a blackout for like 10 days where social media and news is just off, and that power might even be off. And I was like, you think power is gonna be turned off, like electricity, for 10 days nationwide? They're like, yeah, that's what they're gonna do. It's like, no, so many people would die if you did that. That's an insane, massive
many.
thing. And it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. They still think, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
hate it.
think anything like that would happen. I also don't necessarily think that it'll be peaceful because I think there'll probably be other riots, just reject behavior.
I saw
But
an
I don't think it's going to be like a big thing.
Yeah, I saw an FBI report saying that someone threatened them and said that someone threatened the FBI and said that they were going to storm all 50 capitals, like every capital of every state in the U.S. Once Biden gets sworn in, and it's just like,
Yep.
first of
Well,
all,
so did you see that the Utah State Capitol got boarded up? All of the windows and entrances got boarded up because of that threat. Isn't that crazy?
that's really crazy. Did you know that there's more? You should probably Google this because I'm worried that this is wrong information. I heard that there's more registered hunters in the U.S. than there is members of any army in the world. There's a
Registered
higher
hunters.
number of registered hunters, not even people with guns, just hunters, than there are people in any army of any nation. Which would be pretty insane if that was the case.
So this is from Snopes.
Is Snopes reliable?
Okay, so I would say so.
Okay.
I think some people said it's not because it has like a liberal bias or something like that, but I've never heard about it. Okay, so this is what they're saying is true. More hunting licenses, tags, permits, and stamps were sold in the U.S. in 2018. About 37 million than the number of total members in the world's 10 largest armies, about 25 million.
Is 10 largest armies combined?
Beats me.
I know. My point is that's a
so-
lot of people with guns. And
I think what they're saying it's false. I would definitely say there's definitely more weapons in the U.S. and more people that own weapons in the U.S. than armies.
Well,
For
yeah,
sure.
but saying there's more weapons is a lot different than saying more people that own weapons, because you have so many people that have like 200 guns.
But I agree. But I think that I'm saying like the people, like how
Okay.
many. Let's look up how many people in the U.S. own weapons.
I know that there are more guns in general in the U.S. than there are people in the U.S. I know that. But are there more people that own guns in the U.S. than there are people in the
How
biggest
many gun
armies?
owners are in the U.S.?
He's Googling. Gonna keep it entertaining for the
So
audio listeners.
about 40% of Americans say they or someone in their household owns a gun.
Okay.
About 22% of individuals report owning a gun. So that's also report to research. So there
That
could
would
be
be-
more,
The gun owning type would be people that would either lie to the.
but also to research. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think you would get some people that would lie, but it's not like it's illegal.
I
So
know
I
it's
think
not,
a lot
but
of
the
people.
type.
But
The only reason I say that is the majority of people I know that own guns are the type that literally, like, even the Census Bureau that comes up, they refuse to
yeah,
say
but
anything to them.
your experience is lived towards rejects. Like
It's just small town, and that's very common in the U.S. I feel like that's more common than you would think. The amount of small
It might
towns
be
and
more
people like
common,
that
but
are just, I don't know.
I
In my
think you
mind.
also have experience with like basically one, isn't it one family, one extended family? Like
Well, probably half of them are, but the other half is from the other family, which are totally unrelated to the first. And anytime there's a small town and you get these types that are way against big government, then anything that has to do with even any government system at all, like post offices, they hate. Census bureaus, they hate. Any of that. It's just crazy. And
yeah. But basically, so if 22% of individuals say that they own guns, that's about 72 million people, which is way higher.
yeah, way, way more. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to think about it because the odds of all 50 capitals getting stormed in one day seems very, very unlikely. But then
Yeah.
I guess if every little town heard about this threat and went, "Oh, we're going to the Capitol. We're marching. Grab your gun. We're going to the Capitol." That is enough people
So
that
dumb.
every capital would actually get stormed. You might
They
get
could
like
get, but
I don't know. It's
yeah, I think the amount of effort that it would take to like set that up also, it would be surprisingly sophisticated if the mainstream media didn't hear about it. Like you get what I'm saying? If there was enough people that organized to storm every single capital and for mainstream media to not know about it beforehand would be crazy to me.
well, no. All I,
mean,
meant
maybe
was
the FBI would keep it under wraps, but
all I mean is just the mainstream media saying there's been a threat, like just what's happened already. That's it. If that got broadcast to every single TV, hypothetically, that alone I think would be enough to get a considerable amount of people to each capital, just because they saw that and went, "Oh, we're storming the Capitol," and grab
You
their
think?
gun and go there.
But like, what about like the storm Area 51? Like
that was
I mean,
yeah,
it
but
just-
that's in like the meme. There's less people passionate about storming Area 51 than there are little small town weirdo type guys who want to grab their guns and go, "I want to be a part of the, wiping out the system. I want to reset the system." But I don't know. I'd probably guess that 3 or 4 capitals will get pretty badly damaged, and that 25 or 30 won't have
Probably
anything
good.
happen.
Yeah, that's probably a good guess. Yeah, I hope nothing happens, but it just, yeah, I think there's a good chance that riots and stuff like that, like storming of capitals, will happen.
Yeah. The paradoxical thing about it is conservative states are going to have a lot more people to show up to do it, but then they're going to riot in a capital that's already a conservative capital.
Not necessarily. More people voted for Trump in California than in any other state.
But there's way more people. Is that per capita? There's
No,
way more
that's
people in California. Though.
But that's what I'm saying is you could have a way bigger riot and march in California of Trump supporters than you could in some states.
Yeah, that's a
You
good
get
point.
what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
I don't
But
know.
I don't know. It's real weird, dude. The whole politics right now and like the state of politics is reject Neanderthal behavior.
Neanderthal. Neanderthal. Yeah.
Neanderthal.
Neanderthal. Dude, I'm just happy to just sit here and watch it happen. Just go, wow, that's crazy.
It's like, wow, this is
Hilarious.
awesome. I'm gonna get some popcorn. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Dude. It's so dumb. I hate it so much, but oh well.
I just
What do you do?
Yeah. I don't know, bro.
I think the one thing that this has shown me is that I probably should get a gun.
Yeah, I think so.
I really should. So
Did you
I
know
have no way of protecting myself.
Yeah, I made $100 bet with my grandpa, my dad's dad, that Donald Trump would not declare martial law in the next 10 days.
Whoa. Okay.
You
made $100 bet. He thinks that it is going to happen.
He literally said this. He goes, I will bet. He said this in a group chat with about 20 people. I said, I will bet any of you $100 that what I predict is going to happen is definitely going to happen in the next 10 days. And we're all like, okay, what do you predict is going to happen? He goes, if you call me and you have a more accurate prediction of what's going to happen in the next 10 days, I will literally give you $100. And my prediction is martial law, that Trump's going to declare martial law. And I was like, really? I don't think that's ever happened in the history of the United States. That's like for extreme emergencies only. For those who don't know, doesn't it basically make the president a dictator? He's in charge of all three branches of government, and he can just do whatever.
It's also like military. It's like military law.
Yeah, it passes.
So it's like the military runs the entire country, which technically I think gives the president a lot more power because he's the commander in chief.
Yeah, and so it surpasses like the Supreme Court or any court thing that would happen normally now goes to military courts. And so I guess my grandpa's theory was because all of the Trump campaign's evidence that Biden cheated to such an insane amount that it took the election, he's going to declare martial law so that the military courts looks at the evidence, and then he gets, basically he wins the election instead of Biden, and then he'll end martial law and be president for 4 years. And I was like, I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't think that would cause way more bad than good, I think, even for Trump and Trump supporters. It seems like to me. And so I bet him $100.
Yeah. I think that's a good bet. I would make that bet, I think. That's crazy.
I feel like I'm gonna
So you're gonna lose money that Donald Trump when Donald Trump loses, right? I mean, if he does.
Wait. Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you're losing money on that, and then you're gonna make more money for making this bet.
Yeah, Daniel's talking about because I have a group chat with like 14 people in it, and I said if Donald Trump isn't president, I'll give everyone in this group chat $5. And I said that clear back like before they started counting. I think it was right after they started counting. And I was just so positive he was going to win. I was so unbelievably sure. And it wasn't even based on me being a fan of him. It was just based on their whole campaign in general. Like Biden's campaign had way less advertising, way less. It was like a lazy campaign in comparison. Does that make sense? Like it was like way less than even whoever Obama was going against. Now I can't even remember. And
that one guy from Utah, Mitt Romney.
Yeah, Mitt Romney. It was less than any of those. And then he ended up getting more votes, supposedly, than even Obama got when Obama won. And it's like, I don't know, some people are saying
I think it's just the state of the country, dude. It's weird stuff.
I don't know. Anyway, I was sure, and I'm probably going to lose that one because at this point I'm pretty sure, of course, Biden's going to end up it. So I'm going to give everyone in there $5. But
so like if Biden has like a stroke and like just dies, and then like Kamala Harris takes over presidency, does that mean that you
$5? No, because I said that Trump won.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. I said if Biden gets sworn in, I give you $5. Okay. I give everyone $5. That was specifically it. But yeah.
But then that technically you wouldn't lose the bet, right? But I think you did say Donald Trump wins, because if you said Donald Trump wins, that's a different thing than saying Biden gets sworn in.
Well, at first I said if Donald Trump doesn't win, I'll give everyone $5. And then later, when everyone was sure he lost, I go, once Biden gets sworn in,
gotcha.
Then that's when I consider Trump having lost.
When someone else gets sworn in, basically.
Yeah. So if Kamala Harris went in, then
yeah. I mean, let's be real. It is Kamala Harris going in.
It's Kamala Harris for real. Yeah. Biden's gonna
first female president. Let's go.
Biden's gonna have a stroke, in quotations. He's gonna get
It's
assassinated.
gonna be really funny when all the history books don't say that she's the first president, but then in her mind and everyone really knows, like, well, right? She kind of was. That's so funny, dude. All right, I think that's it for this episode. Before we wrap this up, let's quickly give something that we recommend to the viewers. Like, what is something that you recommend? I think I already got mine.
Highly recommend. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit long, only because this was an entire subject I was going to talk about during this, and I just forgot. But to sum it up in a short way, I think I've started noticing that it's not that I've started noticing. That was an awful way to say it. There is way more evidence that people are not who they think they are. What I mean is, like, when your view of yourself includes all of your intentions and all of the things that you've done in the past and all of these, what your values are and these things. But if you watch yourself from an objective point of view, from a totally outside, non-biased point of view, usually, the vast majority of the time, we aren't who we think we are. Like, we don't act in ways that it's actually accordance with our values. We don't live in ways where you could guess what our principles are accurately or what our values are accurately. And so the point is that we aren't who we think we are. And so the thing I would highly recommend is, like, super accurate and brutal self-reflection often. Just self-reflecting, and what I mean by that is laying down or closing your eyes and just trying to go into deep thought about looking at some important thing you did or some decision you made from an outside perspective and going, okay, what does that really affect outside of just what I hope will turn out or outside of anything like that? So self-reflection, that's what I highly recommend.
It's a really good one. Somewhat similar to that, the thing that I highly recommend is tracking stuff that you did throughout the days, your overall mood of the day, stuff that you got done that day. Like, if you have goals of something, I want to do this every single day, finding some way that you can track that and see the overall pattern in your life, very beneficial.
Yeah. That's a good one too.
All right. I think that's it for the episode, correct?
All right. We're at 57 minutes, but we can end it.
Yep.
Okay.
I got to head out soon, so I will say goodbye to everyone that's watching. Maximum Intelligence.
Thanks so much for watching.
It's been a pleasure, and I hope that it has been a pleasure for you guys listening to the most intelligent two humans on this planet. Mm-hmm. Incredible.
Be sure to subscribe to this channel. Put that bell notification if you so desire.
Important.
Also, subscribe to the live-action comedy channel Flop Slap and our gaming comedy channel, if you're interested in that, called Slop Flap.
All right. Adios, you guys.
Bye.